Hello everybody and welcome to Going for Goldbridge. You win again, you win again, you win again. There you stand, the loser. Classic song by Hot Chocolate. I think I put too many you wins in again. But you don't always win in life. We're going to be talking about losses and how they impact on you. And we'll be taking your questions as well. But first of all, the first question I want to just take from Luke is, at what date are you allowed to listen to Christmas music? Luke, listen to it when you bloody well like. If Mistletoe and Wine from Cliff Richard is rocking your boat in the middle of November or the 21st like it is today, then you crack on with it, shove a mince pie in your mouth and have a bit of mulled wine and enjoy it. I think it's a personal thing. With relation to decorations and stuff, is it too early to be putting them up before the 1st of December? Yes, I think it is. Chavs will disagree, but for me, Christmas is about when it feels... Don't fake it. Don't fake it is what I would say. When you're in the mood, you're in the mood. You might have had a weekend away to York. It's very festive. You come home, you put your tree up and it's the start of September. Whatever. It's down to you. But for me, 1st of December is pretty much the kick-off point, and then just blast it for the whole month. Just go for it. What I always hate is VH1, MTV, whatever. They play constant Christmas songs through December. Boxing Day, they stop. Hello? I've worked my arse off all year to get to Christmas. Some of us work till Christmas Eve. You're giving me one day of Christmas songs and I've got the week off between Christmas and New Year. Get some bloody Christmas songs on. It's not over. Forget your best songs of the year countdowns. Get some bloody Christmas songs on between Christmas and New Year. It pisses me off how we're all off, a lot of us, and they pretend it's not Christmas anymore. It's still bloody Christmas. 12 days of Christmas. The hint is in that. But we'll be taking some of your questions in a moment. I want to just get into this because I feel that we live in a society where it's a win culture. It's a, oh, look at my brilliant life culture. And I think actually some of the things we do on Going for Goldbridge are really good. We've spoken about my OCD last week. We've spoken about depression, all very relevant, ongoing things. But I think that reality bites and has an impact. And I think that there is a responsibility to open the door to those sort of things. Like, you know, I want to talk about loss first of all, because we live in this society, this Instagram filter society, where you see these blue tick celebrities. They're putting out these pictures and clips of their perfect life, and I'll guarantee you that they've probably taken 40 pictures to get to that perfect one, and then they're filtering the shit out of it to get the shading right and everything like that. You know why I know? Because I know how to do it myself, but I don't do it very often, as people on my Instagram will no doubt know. But they don't show you the bit where they've woke up in the morning with a big spot on their nose, or they've got dragon breath, or they've got the 2 bob bits, the shits. You know, they won't put an Instagram post of that because it's all about the win. It's all about the money shot. It's all about look at me and my great life. And the reality is, it's beyond that great life that actually is more impactful and better for people to know that we're all human and we all have the same issues. You know, so many people do. So I was thinking about what to talk about today, and I thought loss is such a brilliant thing. And I'm not talking about grieving and things like that. You know, I'm not happy to talk about that, but I would talk about that. I think, you know, it's very important how we deal with grief, and I think I've touched on it before. I'm talking about actually losing. Because for every winner, there has to be a loser. And I have not gone through my life winning at everything, despite what people on Twitter keep putting out there. You know, that's just banter, isn't it? If you don't appreciate winning if you haven't lost. And I've always been a very, very bad loser without going full on lose it. I think that, you know, the people who lose and absolutely lose their inhibitions and do stuff that they're always going to regret, I don't agree with that. But I also want to talk about laziness as well, because there's some funny stuff there. But basically, I worked in a job in my early 20s where I used to go to work, tap away, and everyone thought I was working, and I was writing a film script. And I got away with it for 8 months. And I still got away with it. And anybody who knows me will be thinking, which job is he on about? And I'm not going to tell you the exact job, but I went in for 8 months and I was writing a film script. And everyone used to say he's so diligent, and I used to move my screen, and I had one of them. You know, these inventions are great. You know, the glare thing that you can put over your computer. Because I've got bad eyes, I haven't got bad eyes. It just means no one else can see it unless they're right in front of me. And by that time, I know they're behind me, and I just, you know, what's that? What are those buttons? Control Alt, where you can flick between screens. I was a master of that. I'd sense somebody approaching my desk from 20 meters, and I'd be like, boom, onto the spreadsheet. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. As soon as they've gone back, I'm on there. Goldbridge is in bed with 20 women who all love it. No, that's a different script. But yeah, I did that for 8 months in a job and got paid for it. Unfortunately, the script is still, I don't even know where that script is, but I used to like a bit of writing. It got me through the day. But look, talking about losses, I remember being about 13 years of age and down the local park playing football, and we used to play this game called World Cup. I've probably mentioned it before. I don't see enough people down the park playing football anymore. I think this is really sad as well. I do wonder about social media and technology. I don't think the youth of today are getting the youth I had. Down the woods playing army, down the park playing football until it got dark. I mean, yeah, all right, you've got your bloody the amazing games and apps and everything like that, but you sat watching your arse grow. I was out there communicating with people. I just wouldn't. I do worry. I do worry about interpersonal skills, obesity, depression. I just think technology is a hard drug for our youth of today, and that's for another day. And I've got kids who are going down that path, and it's very hard to veer them away from it when all their friends are doing it. It's not like I can say, get down the park. They'll be stood there on their own and tumbleweed will be going past. But anyway, when I was a youth, we literally, this time of year, it's getting dark at 4:30. We'd get off the school bus at 4 o'clock. You'd run home, you'd get your kit on, you'd be down the park for like 4:10, and you'd play for 20 minutes. And then it's dark. But you'd do it because you wanted to play football. So the great thing about this World Cup game was that basically you would have you'd play in front of one goal, which for us was a set of small swings, so it was perfect. Somebody go in goal. Somebody always wants to go in goal. Normally, I'm not going to say that. And then if there was 5 of you, you play World Cup, and the goalkeeper would kick it out, and then it'd be just all 5 of you against each other. And if you scored a goal, you went and stood behind the goal because you were through. And then 3 people have scored. There's 2 of you left. The goalkeeper kicks it out. Whoever scores, they go through, and whoever's left, they're out. And that person who's out has then got to sit behind the goal while the 4 come through, and then 1 gets left again as 3 go through, and then you have a final. But the great thing about this is, if you play if they had about 10 of you, you might do World Cup doubles where you play in pairs. That was always good. But if you've got about 7 of you and you get knocked out in the first round, you're sat on your arse behind that goal for a good half an hour while everyone plays through it. And this is where losing. I used to do this thing because I'll put my hands up. I'm not being arrogant. I was very, very good at football. I used to hate scoring first, because if you scored first, you sat behind the goal, and there might be 4 or 5 other people still playing for bloody ages in their crap. So I used to have this tactic where I would let people score purposely. I'd just get the ball and do a bit of dribbles and try and score worldies from a long way out. And if it went in, you've scored a worldie, but most of the time it wouldn't go in. And I'd always make sure that I was still on the pitch when there's 2 or 3 people left, because I'd take a gamble and think, well, at least I'm playing. I just wanted to play. Well, there's also a sub-story to this, is that you always had the person whose ball it was. Not everyone turned up with a ball. It was the 80s, 90s. We weren't loaded, so it would always be somebody who turned up with a ball. And on this particular occasion, I turned up with a ball. You know where this is going to go. Anyway, we're playing World Cup. It's the first round, and I'm pissing about, and I ended up being one of the last 2 people. So whoever scores goes through, and the last person goes out. Keeper kicks it out. I go and get the ball, and I'm running at him, and I tried this sort of step over skill, and I fell over. And as I fell over, the ball kept rolling, and he just toe-ended it in, and I was out. And everyone was going, "Oh, wow, that's great." He's like, "Ha, you're out." And I was like, "That's not fair. I'm way better than them. I've just slipped, and he scored a lucky goal. That's not fair." And they're like, "Well, they're the rules. That's what happens." And it turns into a big thing. And it dawned on me that I'm going out. And I'm like, no, I'm not sitting around for 45 minutes while you lot play. I'm one of the best players here. This is a joke. This is a giant killing. This is as bad as Sutton United against Coventry or Wimbledon Liverpool. This is an injustice. I'm not having it. And everyone's like, well, you have to have it. And I was like, no, I'm not having it. Play it again. And that's the real game. Let's do it again. That's the real game. And everyone's like, no, you can't do that. And in the back of my head, I'm knowing, yeah, you can't do that. But I've lost. I've absolutely lost. I've been giant killed. And the one thing I always do is blame somebody else. Never take the blame yourself. This is my losing culture. It's always somebody else's fault. If I open a cupboard and I bang my head on the corner of it, I batter the cupboard, even though it's hurting my hand with every punch. There has to be blame. There has to be blame. Even if I get caught with watching a bit of porn or whatever like that, it's not my fault. Somebody sent me the link. That is the rule in life, isn't it? That is the rule in life. If you have the last biscuit from the biscuit tin and you get caught red-handed, I needed to eat. I haven't eaten for 3 weeks. I was going to die if I didn't eat it. There's always somebody to blame. And you know what I did? That's my ball. I'm going home. Oh, you can't do that just because you've lost. Well, let me through then. No, we're not doing that. So I took the ball and went home. I'm ashamed. I took my ball and went home because I lost fairly, although unluckily. I went home and my mum was like, well, why are you home so soon? And I sort of told the story, and she said, you've got to go back. And I went, I'm not going back. Because then one of my other traits kicked in. Do not like losing and stubborn. So I'm not going back. So anyway, a couple of weeks later, it turned into such an event that my granddad was saying you can't do that in future. And I really respected my granddad. So I was like, no, I won't do it again. A couple of weeks after that, it's Christmas. We're playing cards and we're all sat round there on Christmas Day night playing cards. And I was sort of getting involved because I was 13. And I can't even remember what card game we were playing, but I'd made a mistake. I'd retained a card that you were meant to put down. And then, anyway, it came to pass that my granddad found out about it. He thought I'd been cheating. He got his chairs and he went home. And I was like, oh, I wonder where I get my losing mentality from then. So, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting how people react to losses. It's just in you, and you do lose. And I look at losses. United losing, frustrated. I was playing FIFA 20 last night, and I had 20 minutes before the 8 o'clock show, so I played a bit of FIFA 20. I'm 2-0 up online against somebody on Ultimate Team in no time. And you know what I do? I hate this about me. It's one of the worst things about me. I don't put my foot down and just blast them 6 or 7-0. I'm like, oh, if I don't take... So, I'm winning 2-0 after 20 minutes, and I'm like, if he rage quits, I haven't got time to have another full game before the 8 o'clock stream, so I don't want him to rage quit. So I took my foot off the pedal a bit, I let him have the ball, and he scored 2-1. And I was like, oh... I could have been like 5-0 up, but I let him back into it, and then it went to 2-2, and he bloody beat me 3-2. Oh, I tell you what, I nearly didn't do the 8 o'clock stream. I was in the mirror going, you're fucking useless. You never bloody learn. Shouting at myself in the mirror, you never learn. You never learn. You had that on a plate. You've took your foot off the pedal. You've done the old World Cup thing again, haven't you? Instead of getting through because you're good, you've let them back in the game and you've done it, oh, I'll just beat them 3-2 or whatever. And they've beaten you and it's your own bloody fault. It's the slip from when you were 13 again, you bloody idiot. Get out. And then you realise you're talking to yourself. This is my problem. I always try. I don't really like blasting people 6, 7, 8-0. I don't. I would rather be competitive, and that creates problems for itself. And also, when I lose on FIFA 20 online, it really impacts my mood. For an hour, I'm pissed off afterwards. I'm absolutely furious. So I don't like losing. I'm quite good at dealing with it beyond the temper and the stubbornness. I mean, I wouldn't take it out on somebody else like a cat or a mother-in-law or anything like that. I'm not up for anything like that. But I think losing is character building, and you're going to be very, very, very fortunate if you go through life and you win at everything. So I think it's an important lesson that, society builds up these people as winners, but everybody's lost. Everybody's had a fall, and it's how you deal with it. And I'm bad at dealing with it, but I'm quite good at dealing with it because it's from the losses I think that you take the victories. And I think about some of the jobs I've had unjustly, not, I've gone for interviews and not got them because they've given it to mates and things like that. That's really frustrating and gets you angry. But it's all character building, and it all happens. So I don't know what lesson you're meant to take from that. Suffice to say, don't ever belittle yourself as a loser in life because you've lost something or you didn't get something that you wanted, and then you look out at this celebrity culture and I mean, look at Mourinho. Jose Mourinho is the prime example of a loser who will always portray himself as a winner. Absolutely embarrassed himself at Manchester United. embarrassed himself at Chelsea, sacked, and yet here he is back at Spurs with the world lapping his feet again, because he's got a winning mentality. But you will lose through life, and it's how you deal with that, and it's about, you know, how you conduct yourself as well. So, yeah, I think there's an important lesson in that, is that, you know, you will lose sometimes, and just do what I do, find a reason for it, and blame it on that. I'm terrible at that. It's a bad trait. I'm very bad at taking responsibility for losses. I'll always find a way out, but that's just a coping mechanism, isn't it? And I'm a frustrated loser. I always have been. I'm a bad loser. I find it difficult to deal with things like that. I remember Manchester United losing the 2009 Champions League final in Rome, and I found it hard to sleep for 2 weeks. Even though we'd won the Champions League the year before, I found it hard. I find it hard to get over a loss sometimes. But there we go. Let's take some of your questions. If you could time travel, where would you go? Says Guna Kali Zoar. I'd probably, you know what? I think the older I get, the more I'd be interested to see what the future is, because I think I always thought growing up in the past, I would like, funnily enough, in the past, I would like to go to the past. I'd like to go and see what 1066 was like, or I'd like to go and see, you know, what Hollywood was like in the 60s, especially Vegas and Sinatra and all that lot, or just drop in and see what World War II was like. That sounds odd, but you know what I mean. But I think now that I've got kids, I think that your own, you become less selfish, and you know, I won't be here in 100 years' time, but probably my kids won't be either. I won't be here in 50 years' time, I don't think, but hopefully all of my kids will be, and I'd like to see what that world is. It could be quite a scary experience, though, isn't it? Because, you know, whatever happens, your lifetime's your lifetime, and you can think, oh, I hope nothing bad happens, like war or famine or whatever for my kids, but they're going to have kids, and I might not meet them and their kids, but it's still your family, isn't it? If you could, I've done that one. I'm a superstitious, says Clive Rottin. I think my superstition, and I always want to say this when I'm very superstitious. The writing's on the wall. I don't even like that song, but it always makes me think about it. Some words make me want to sing a song. I'm a superstitious. I think yes, I am. Yes, I am. I mean, this is another thing. Superstition and OCD sort of go in hand. OCD being obsessive compulsive disorder. So if you're somebody who does things 3 times because your OCD demands you to do it, you're not going to be somebody who doesn't see a magpie and cross yourself. And if you know what that is. So I am superstitious. I wish I wasn't. Again, I think superstition is another mental health trait in many ways. I think it is. These footballers who have to be at the back of the queue and don't put their shirt on until they come into the tunnel. I think Paul Ince, I've just described him there. Put your left boot on before your right boot. These are all superstitions, and I think they are all mental health issues in many ways, because you think that these things that clearly cannot have an impact on the way things are going to go, but it does impact because it gives you that positivity in your mind. So yeah, I am superstitious. The magpie thing is something that I grew up with, where if you see one magpie, it's considered bad luck, so you do a cross if you're religious. But so that's one. Some people throw salt over their shoulder to get bad luck. I mean, you wouldn't want to be the person behind them, would you? But so I'd say I am superstitious as much as I don't want to. Favourite place to shop at Christmas, says Jack. Amazon.co.uk. It's a lifesaver. Does going to college and getting a degree guarantee success, says Spanky. I think it assists, but it doesn't have to define you. I mean, it's a bit like losing, isn't it? A really bad loss, people think, oh, well, that's it, I'm never coming back from that. But you can. And not getting a degree or anything like that can be a disadvantage, but it doesn't have to be. What's on your bucket list, says Charlie Bass. This is quite interesting, because Flex from the United Stand is absolutely adamant that I should do a charity jump out of a plane with him and rants. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do a lot of things for charity. Well, last week we raised over 12 grand in 24 hours. But jumping out of a plane, one, I don't know whether I could do it. And two, I just don't. I don't like flying. Anyway, so there's two elements to this. Going up in some little shitty plane that's got its door open and then jumping out of it. I just have a mental issue with this. And I just said to Flex, you know, like people say, oh, I don't know about that. But in the back of their mind, they're a little bit excited about it. I said, the only thing that's making me consider it is the charity angle. I am totally and utterly 100% against it, not excited about it, and have no curiosity or wondering, oh, that would be nice to do. I don't want to do it. I genuinely don't want to do it. It would be like going down in a cage to look at great white sharks. That cage would be full of, well, it wouldn't because I'd have a wetsuit on, but my wetsuit would be full of crap. My theory is, why put yourself into situations that you hate and then moan about it when it goes wrong? Just don't put yourself into the situation. But it's an interesting one, and I'm sure a lot of you will be saying, just do it. When does Christmas start in your house? December the 1st, I would say. Would you ever do a setup tour, just so we can see behind the scenes, says Jayida? No, I wouldn't, because I think people who do these setup tours, they tend to do it when they've got an amazing setup. For me, I think I don't like my setup much, so to show everybody it, I think it would take away the mystique of it. Some people would say it's an amazing setup, but I prefer to be one of those people who don't do that. So unorthodox. And what's the most normal thing about you? The most normal thing about me is I have a bath every night after the Manchester United stream. I love and look forward to a nice hot bath at the end of the day. Love it. And if I can have a bit of bubble bath in there that smells nice. I like these molten brown ones. They're lovely. That's the most normal thing about me. I like a good hot bath at the end of the day. And what did it feel like when you found out your parents were getting divorced? I was very happy. I can't lie about that. I think it's a bit like Pogba and Manchester United. They should have sold Pogba in the summer, because 3 years together, it doesn't work. It's never going to work. And they should have just parted ways. And I think that I was very young. I think I was only 6. But I already knew. I sort of had an old head on young shoulders, really, because I just saw a lot of things that it was never going to be compatible. And it was the best thing for both of them, even though at the time I don't think either of them thought it was. And that's ridiculous for a 6-year-old to know what's best for their parents who are adults. But I was happy because I knew it was the right thing, and it was definitely the right thing. So I think my sister was, a bit younger than me. She's like 2.5 years younger than me, and it impacted on her. I think she was very sad about it, probably didn't understand it. But for me, I did, even though I was very young. I knew it was the right thing. I don't think I knew. I mean, obviously, I'm a man now, so I know it was the right thing for many more reasons. But I think when you're 6, I didn't necessarily know what I know now were the right reasons. But I definitely was aware at 6 that these things weren't normal, and in a loving relationship they weren't normal. So it was a good thing. So it never bothered me, and I never looked back. Would you rather lose a year of your life or live the same year for 5 years? Seth. Oh, God, that just sounds depressing, Seth. Highlight of 2019, says David Till I Die. There's been a few. I think last week raising 12 grand for charity is not to be sniffed at. I think 500,000 subscribers for the United Stand is not to be sniffed at. I think getting a United Stand football team up and going is not to be sniffed at. Playing at Old Trafford. I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened this year that don't feel... I don't know about you, but a lot of people at this time of year start saying, I can't believe it's Christmas already. I can't believe it's Christmas already. I know, I can't believe it. I can't believe it's not Christmas. It's Christmas again already. And then you feel like going, why can't you believe it? We've not shortened the year. We didn't kick June, July and August into the bin. We've had the same amount of days, minutes and hours that we have every year. You're just spouting crap. But I feel like it as well. I can't believe Christmas is coming round. But then I think when you actually compartmentalise a year and look back on a year, playing at Old Trafford in May feels like bloody ages ago, even though it was only 6 months ago. The United Stand trials feels like 2 years ago. It was back in April or March. So, I think years do feel short, but then when you look at things, they feel very long. So, yeah, there's been a lot of things this year, a lot of things. But you know what? I'm not going to be corny. I say this every year. I used to go every New Year. I'd write a list of things I wanted to achieve for the year, and I did this for about 10 years. And then I got to a point where actually I was like, the year will take care of itself. The most important thing for me is that the people close to me are happy and healthy, and that's all I look for. So for me, because I've seen so many people who don't get that. I've seen so many lives torn apart in seconds, and I just think, every day I'm guilty of it, but every day we take things for granted, and that's not being selfish, but we do, because when you've seen how quick life can change, you actually start to appreciate what you've got. And I love all this. I love playing at Old Trafford. I loved setting the team up, 500,000 subscribers, the charity stuff. It's all fantastic. But ultimately, it wouldn't mean a lot. It wouldn't mean very much if I didn't have what is most important to me, and that is the support and people I have around me. So that's always the biggest achievement for me. Yeah. You can keep that bit. You can keep that bit in brownie points. But no, it is true. It is true. It's been a funny year, though. It's been a funny year. I think I came into this year really excited about things like Game of Thrones. Disappointed. Star Wars. I'm not really hyped for that at all. And then you get other things that you pick. I'm always, I never used to like change much, but I think I embrace change a lot more now than I used to, and I actually find some things that You find some things in the year that you weren't expecting, and that can be films like The Joker, it can be TV series, it can be Friends, it can be things that you do. So I think that's always the exciting thing. So yeah, I think I've answered that one quite well, and I think I've blabbered on enough on this video. So I hope that video's been good. I know last week's video did very, very well, but I hope you can take something out of that anyway. Please do subscribe if you're new. We're very close to 50,000 subscribers, so hopefully we can hit that this week. And I'll keep doing them while people keep watching them. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.